Well, welcome everyone to the March edition of the Revitalization Trust Fund. It's great to see so many of you here. And as we spring into spring, but let me kick off the meeting with our little required notes, and then we will move on to actually accepting the minutes. And from there, we'll go through and take care of all the stuff for this month. First of all, this open meeting of the Revitalization Trust Fund is being conducted remotely, consistent with the former order issued on March 12th. And we are continuing so far with this methodology. In order for the public to be able to have work publicly remotely. You see, I got to get this down. You think I have it down after the last couple of years of doing this. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded to that public and that they can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. Remember that the meetings are being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks are able to see you, and take care not to share your screen or any information that you would not like recorded in the broadcast. And so from there, let's start by voting to accept the minutes from the February Revitalization Trust Fund meeting. First of all, are there any questions about the notes? I think all of you had it distributed to you through the email. Sounds like there aren't any questions to the notes based on the silence. So I would like to propose that we accept the meeting notes for February 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Notes have been accepted. Hey, Marcus, I just saw you jump in there. And he's
Not
truly.
I'm in my car. Yeah. I can't be here for the whole meeting, but I'd probably be for half of it. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay, well, we'll kick it off and get as much done as we can while you're still here. All right, number one, update on the Tiger profile, dedication, and the new panel material test. Well, let me just say that the Tiger event was, I guess you could say, great, as Tony the Tiger might say. Anyway. It actually came off really well. We not only had Jessica and Carol there, but Tiger had 5 people who were basically representing Japan. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them who had actually come from Japan to be able to be with him as part of another meeting that he was going to have in the next day. But we're, excited, and this is the reason we timed it for March 19th, excited to be able to be there as part of this celebration. And it was pretty cool being able to actually speak through a translator to some of the people from the consulate in Japan. There was just a wonderful family gathering with 2 of his sons there and their little kids. It also included, a number of people who were all his neighbors. And then just, people who were, excited about it and came to be able to see it. We were lined up basically for a good distance down the sidewalk since we had quite a crowd. And it was really fun. Tiger was very excited about it. He had told me afterwards that he was, just thrilled that he was being featured for this, and that he, he's loved the experience of living here in Needham and raising his kids here, and he had, just a great. He told a story about how his wife would go around look when they were trying to find a place to live in the United States, that he would. And they decided they wanted to be in the Boston area because he was going to go to Berklee College of Music. And that had really solidified him staying here. That when they wanted to be able to sort of start a family, that they looked for the neighborhoods. And he said, when I came to Needham, he said, I knew as soon as I got here that this is where we wanted to be. And that was really wonderful. And he said, my wife found the house. He said, because I was touring. And so he said, I would go off on tour. She'd send me a message saying, hey, we've got a house that we got to go look at. Can you come back? He said he would fly back in. He would see the house. He'd be there for a few hours or whatever. Then he'd go back on tour. He'd do this back and forth until they found the right house. And so it was a really great gathering. Carol and Jessica, you want to add any other comments from your experience?
I had thought it was wonderful. And I talked with a few of the friends from Japan who had come, and they were very pleased to see this. And then I talked with Tiger. I didn't see Jessica. I missed her. And I thought she would be there too. And I'm sorry about that, Jessica.
No, I was bundled up. It was cold. I had,
Oh, it was so
I had a hat
cold.
down here and a scarf around here.
Exactly.
So it's hard to recognize me.
Yeah, my God. Yeah, yes. And then I went over to Tiger because I said, I remember his doing the first of the Great Hall, things that we've done with for the past, what was it, about 8 years. And he was the first one to play. And I thought he was so good. So I just wanted him to know how much I really appreciated that at that time. And so nice that we could, see him again. So yes, I thought it was, I don't know, about 40 people.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. But it certainly was cold.
Yes.
Cold and windy.
That's sunny at least.
But we were still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lovely man. I mean, he walked around and shook hands with everybody and thanked them for
Yeah.
being there. And I mean, you could tell he was really, truly touched, as were his family members. And his grandchildren were really proud of him. And it was really nice. It was very heartwarming, I thought. And the mural looks great. It looks really good. In fact, I drove by it and I felt like, I should tell the artist this, the photograph right in the middle of it of him playing the trumpet, it really pops. Like you don't have to look for it. It's just, when you turn that way, it immediately pops out at you, which I think is great because, some people do drive by rather than walking by. So the mural looks really good, I think.
Yeah.
That's great feedback because, we been working on being able to, upgrade the materials because we noticed that we were just doing the stretched vinyl, that when you get temperature changes, that it would create some wrinkles and it wouldn't stay as taut as it was intended to do. And then the, temperature would change, it would come back again. But it always had a little bit of the texture of the, the threads that are in the vinyl, which is part of the, the strength of the material. And so we were looking for, a way to be able to, to solve those two things. And that Wayne from Speed Pro came up with this material that he said, I think if we do it on this board, that which is still, you can still roll it up, But it's much stiffer. And he said, we've had some great success with creating outdoor signs that have this, use this material and we imprint on it. You know, he would be his recommendation. And it costs a little bit more money than the vinyl does, but nothing it would, alter the sponsorship amount or anything. And it was just like when I saw the printout a few days before we brought it up to the wall, I was like, oh, this is killer. I mean, really, I mean, the colors pop, the detail was great. And Seymour just did a terrific job creating the palette. And Jessica, pulled together the whole, profile description, of Tiger and all the things he's done. And I should say, a whole bunch of the things that he's done, because he's done so many things that you just be wrapping around the the board.
Yeah. I also talked with the owners of the property there that he had, he's leaving, the one that owns it.
Oh,
Did
you were talking about Chris Lianos, yes, and Will Patel.
Yes. I hope he still likes us doing it there.
Well, Will, first of all, great thanks to Chris that he gave us a very good rep.
Yeah.
So that was wonderful. And Will was genuinely excited about being able to, be connected with this.
Yeah.
He really values what the intention of the program is, and just from a personal standpoint. And so he was excited to be a part of that. As Chris, basically has sold the Needham Center Fine Wines location to him. And he's still going to operate the other two that he has.
Oh, okay.
But just for information's sake, he's doing this because he basically, is trying to be able to create some work-life balance with the 3 stores and having to run between all the stores and do all that. And his
That's a
kids
lot.
are growing up with him being absent a lot. And he just basically needed to be able to do some restructuring. And the Needham store is a very well run store. It has great staff and a very stable environment. And I can tell you, they also went through a very extensive vetting process to find Will. So there were a lot of things between the landlord and the whole process. So I think will be a wonderful person to work with going forward, and the staff seems to be very positive about it too.
Good.
And he has a lot of experience in the beverage business, so it's
Yes, that's good.
yeah. So anyway, so that's that. Any other comments before we move on? Awesome. All right. An update on the Dave DeChico bench. This is the bench that is in process. We've gotten all the details, submitted, and the bench is ordered, and now we basically just wait for as soon as they can make it. We're hoping for the spring. But it takes a while to get these things through production right now. So that's basically the update. We're all just waiting, and that Park and Forestry, who this will be delivered to, will have been informed. It also knows that the bench will be coming. And that he's a contact person as well as I am for when they actually are, putting it out physically on a truck and shipping it. And one of the nice things about this particular bench style too is that it comes fully assembled. So basically, other than taking it off the truck that it arrives on and then uncrating it and then bringing it to the site, that there's there's no other work that the Park and Forestry have to do to be able to install it. And just as a reminder, this one is going at Greens Field, and it'll be on at the end of the central walkway that goes straight back towards the field. There's already a pad for it, and the concrete and wood slat bench will be removed and by the Park and Forestry, and they'll reuse that somewhere else. So that's the update there. Let's see, Charles River Street cleanup. Actually, I got a message just from Karis today that says they're actively working on getting the fields up and running over the next 2 weeks, but that she will contact me in about 2 weeks, and we'll set up the date for the Charles River cleanup, Charles River Street cleanup. So
Yeah.
we're making progress.
Yeah.
Brad, do you have any other things to add to that? I know one of the things we have to do is, obviously, once we've got the date, is be able to rally people to be able to actually do the cleanup with us. Anything that you have to add on that?
Not right now. I will, obviously, we were going to go after some of the sports teams, National Honor Society and others at the school, and then Needham Rotary would be another option that we talked about. So once we have a date, we'll go after them.
Yeah, I got a message from the Rotary as a suggestion that they would be open to potentially considering it as one of the projects that they help with. I think, though, that one of the things they could pull together volunteers to be able to do it, but I think one of the idea of this was to see if we can create sort of a perpetual volunteer cycle with this, with the high school and the sports teams and things like that you were talking about, so that they get the credits and that kind of thing, so it's repeatable. Because the Rotary will always wanting to be doing a variety of different things, so it's just something to be able to put in the mix and a consideration, just based on what I understand. So I will let you know, Brad, as soon as we have a date, and then we can figure out how to be able to rally the troops to be able to get it done.
There's Paul, just there's also an email newsletter that goes around to all the high school students and parents. Back when we were talking about this a few months ago, the woman in charge of that said we can just send her, an item that says, hey, are you looking for community service hours? This cleanup is happening. And so in addition to those clubs, maybe some other kids that are looking to get their hours in might just join based on that too. So
great. And Brad, will you make a note of that also? And you can use.
And I can either do it or put someone in touch with the woman in charge of it. But she said, yeah, it goes out every week too. So we don't have to do it too far in advance.
All righty. Well, we'll start with the date, and then we'll move on to the to start to make the connections to be able to rally people. So that's great. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Update on the postcard mailing. Well, just I can say that I'm a bit behind on the postcard mailing. We've been focusing on being able to get the Tiger profile all in, and a number of the coordinations there, and it's time consuming to be able to get these names and addresses into the database. Obviously, once we get them in, that'll be great. But I definitely can use some help in terms of being able to to get these things in. So if anyone is available to be able to volunteer, we can set up and spend maybe an hour or an hour or so both working on being able to get these entered in the database. So do we have any volunteers at this point? Because we definitely need somebody to help do this. No
I should
pressure.
be-
Well, I can help with a little bit with it if it's an hour or two.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean,
Yeah.
the first phase of this is just to be able to get the first 100 names that are just mailing addresses into the database, and it's basically putting them into a an Excel spreadsheet because it
And
goes
where
out
are they,
goes
where are
to
they
the,
coming from?
these are the people who have sent in donations in the past, but never had any email addresses listed. So these
Yeah.
are all people who have donated to the fund.
Yeah,
And so the whole idea is to be able to send out this postcard, which I have some initial designs on already. And it'll include two things. One is obviously a message. It will have a QR code that they can scan with their phone, which will take them right to the sign up form to be able to get onto the mailing list. And it'll also have the URL for the website, the town website, and that Amy has already posted the connection piece there, so people can sign up if they go to the site there. So we have the basic mechanisms are in place. We just basically need to get the database done, and then I can send. They have a specific format that they want to be able to receive it in, but it's basically just a Excel spreadsheet with certain fields clearly listed, and we fill in the blanks. And for this card, we only need the first 100 in there. So, because that's going to be our test to see what the response rate is. And if it's successful, then obviously we can go to the next 100 and do that kind of thing too. So, and continue to build a database from the people who in the past, didn't have the opportunity to be able to give us an email even if they wanted to. So great. Well, thank you, Marcus. That's awesome. I'll just get in touch with you and we'll just figure out a mutually beneficial time. And
I can give some time right now too, Paul.
okay. That's great. I will be in touch on that. The Art and Bloom project at the library. One of the things that was really great. I don't know whether any of you got to go to it, but this was sort of an idea that was carried forward from the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, who does an Art and Bloom, Arts and Bloom, event every year. And so they did this in Needham, and basically they had art from students who had all created these different pieces of art. And then from those pieces that were submitted, that people created flower arrangements that were, related to and tied into the design, the art, the colors, and all that type of thing from the piece of art. So it was really quite an event. They had a good number of different ones, and it was funny. Then you could also, as a fundraiser, because that's what it was also, that you could bid through the silent auction on the different pieces. And, Gabriella went out and bid on a number of them, and we ended up with two of them, which was awesome. So, so we have two of those things. I mean, the things themselves, were just very well put together. I mean, they used some of them had just beautiful vases that they were in, or planter, ceramic planters, and a beautiful array of flowers. One of the ones we got actually had some lights, little, the little pin-like lights integrated into the whole thing, and you could touch the button and then it would go through little flashing and little chasing, just do a little add a little more energy to the overall experience. So it was great fun. But one of the great things about it too was that I got to meet a number of the artists that were creating the different pieces, and I'm following up on some of the contacts that I made there of people who had helped organize it to see if we can help use their connections and experiences to be able to rally people for funding the art gallery.
Mhm.
So that's basically the feedback from that. Did anybody else get to the library to ever see it?
No, didn't.
Yeah. But
I've
I
been
guess
in past years, but I wasn't there this year. It really is beautiful. It's really kind of amazing, but I couldn't make it this year, unfortunately. But I've been.
yeah. No, it's great. In fact, what's crazy is that they've apparently been doing this for 15 years. I mean, I had no idea. I mean, I said to him, you got to get connected to some of the, things that really link people together. Because I mean, if I didn't know that it had been going on for 15 years, I talked to a lot of people,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, how did we miss this? So anyway, so they're working on ways to be able to make that more visible. And I'm sure Amy's newsletter from the town, and there are probably a variety of other different sources that can help connect it, including obviously Facebook. And Facebook is actually where Gabriella actually saw it and let me know about it. So that was great. And let's see, we've got. Are there any updates? If Marcus is still, I think he may have. I hope we didn't miss him already. If Marcus, if you're still out there, any updates on the grants?
Marcus actually signed off.
Oh, did he? Okay. Well, we've got a grant application in. The expectation was that they would sometime, I guess, in April, make the final decisions on what who they're awarding to and so on. So stay tuned. Basically, that's all all we have on that one. Jessica, if you want to talk a little bit about, since we're constantly looking forward to our next profile for Life is Good.
Yeah, so we're on to the next mural already. It's in the works. So it's the profile will be about John and Bert Jacobs, who grew up here in Needham and started the Life is Good company. I'm sure everyone's familiar with the t-shirts and the hats, and they're really popular. It's a great story. They really built it out of nothing, selling t-shirts out of vans, until it really caught on. And now, of course, it's a huge success. We've been in touch with Roy Heffernan, that's his name, right? And I think he's their cousin, and he works with them as well.
That's right.
He's really excited about the project. So I sent him the profile that I had put together, some ideas for photographs. There were some really good ones that I found online, like as part of articles. I don't know that the quality is good enough. So I asked him to look into, what kind of photographs they might be able to find that are of, pretty good quality for the artist to use. So he's working on that. He is going to meet with the brothers, go through the profile, and also think about photographs that might work well in the mural. So I'm just waiting to hear back from him. But he sounds excited about it. And he said the brothers are excited about it too. So sounds like we're headed in the right direction.
That's great. Any timing in terms of when Roy is going to get back to you, or?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I'll probably check in with him in a couple of weeks and just see. They've had. I'm not sure how long ago I sent it, but it's been at least a couple of weeks. So a couple of weeks from now, I'll probably check in with him and see how it's going.
Okay, because we want to be able to make sure that we stay ahead of the. It can take several weeks worth of design time to be able to put that together.
Mm-hmm.
And this one doesn't go up until July, but I like to try to stay obviously as far ahead of the game as we possibly can, so that if we have any trouble getting images or any other kinds of things that come along, that we have a lot of time to be able to fix them. So
okay, good.
That'd be great. All righty. And on the same note, let's see, I don't know whether I have this in the notes or not. Yes, the we have a new sponsor for the for the yet to be named profile. But yeah, Michael Billet, or Baylett, I guess it is, contacted me a couple of weeks ago, and he owns a medical consulting company here in town, and he grew up here, and he said, I'd love to be able to sponsor the next one.
Oh, how nice.
So yeah, so Jessica will be putting together some, 2 or 3 different people that she suggests that we might do, and we're going to see if we have anything that would relate, to Michael, and be connected to the things that he really enjoys.
So I didn't realize it was Michael Baylett. I actually know him fairly well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he and every member of his family literally are all very involved in Needham Community Theater. Sorry about the dog. And both of my children have been in a number of their productions, so and are friendly with his kids. So I don't know why he's making so much noise all of a sudden, but so yeah, so I've actually known him pretty well that way. So that's good. That'll be fun to work with him. I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. I was thrilled, and we had a very nice conversation on the phone, and it's totally awesome that you already know him, and that we can put this thing together. So
yeah, he's a very nice guy. Very nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my impression from the conversation with him, and he's already sent in his sponsorship money, and it's basically just he's his profile will go up from for November, December, January, February. So it's the last quarter. So see, even your dog's excited about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to escape him now. He senses somebody's outside. I don't know. He sounded the alarm, I guess.
Well, no problem. So thank you, and that's great. And so, as you get a chance, once we get the Life is Good one put together, that we can move on to getting those kind of the other suggestions that we might use for the last one, and we'll run it by him and see what he thinks. So, and one of the things that also sort of the last piece on the agenda is to let people know that Mary Ruth will actually be resigning from the committee. She is basically selling her house in Needham and moving to Brookline, if I remember correctly. She's got her kids there, and she wants to be closer to them, and she felt it was just the right time to be able to to sell her home and move into something that would be smaller and require a lot less maintenance, meaning the condo association takes care of the place, and so she to be on the committee, you have to be a Needham resident, and so obviously that would not be the case. So over the course of the next month or two, she is in the process of putting together the move, and she, just said, she just has loved being on the committee, and loved working with all of you guys, and being involved in so many different things that have come along, including, she was instrumental in donations to the fund in a variety of different ways. But she was the connection with the Women's Club that allowed us to be able to do the police officers pedestal project on Chestnut Street, and brought that to life. And although most of you will not remember this, that we actually created that project almost 10 years before it actually was funded. so it was one of those things. It was really a project that had just been sitting in the wings looking for a sponsor, and she presented it to to the women's club, but then I went in and did a presentation about what it would be like and showed them a mock-up and all that. And it had gotten started with its funding actually from the police officers union, who had donated to it to get it started. So it was just a wonderful thing. And when the pedestal went in, they did a whole ceremony on the plaza, and the officers were really, touched by the fact that this, memorial to the two officers who passed away in the bank robbery back in the 1930s was being done, but also the fact that it just created a wonderful space and gave meaning to that plaza, which is dedicated to Haddock and McLeod. So it was a very positive thing, and I know that she is going to miss being able to be part of a number of these things, but she wishes everyone her heartfelt thanks and appreciation for all the things that she's been a part of. I think that completes our agenda. So does anyone else have anything else that they would like to share or bring up? Amy, do you have any other thoughts or tidbits of great advice that we should, other than the fact that we have something coming out in your newsletter that maybe you could talk about?
Yeah, actually, it was sent out a couple of hours ago. So the town's newsletter has a feature on the latest installation of From Needham to the World. So if you don't already have a subscription to the town's e-newsletter, very easy to sign up. If you go to the homepage of the town's website, just needhamma.gov and scroll to the bottom, there's a link there to sign up. If not, it's also posted to the town's social media site. There's a link to see it there as well. So beyond that, I don't
Very busy.
have anything else to share.
Well, I just as a question, are we still expecting that sometime in April the fences will come down at the town common?
So the town common is expected to have a soft opening sometime in late April with a specific date to be announced. There are still some items that need to be installed, but once a handful of things are done to ensure public enjoyment and public safety, the fence will be taken down. So as soon as we have a date on that, we'll certainly announce that. And then the sort of the grand opening will be sometime in the summer, as far as the celebration once the final details are all taken care of. But the town recognizes that people are eager to get back and enjoy the renovated space. So probably would say somewhere around about a month from now, we should be able to do that. So more details to come, so stay tuned.
And my understanding is that also the farmers market and probably and Harvest Fair will show up on Greens Field this year. I think they've already made arrangements to do that. Is that
They
right?
have. The farmers market actually requested to stay on Greensfield. The location has actually worked very well for them. And also the Charles River Chamber has interest in returning to Greensfield for the Harvest Fair, which usually takes place the first weekend in October. Just the logistics of it, the layout was worked very well last October, which, they had to go there because the town common was under renovations, but they got a lot of positive feedback that venue actually worked better than town common. So it looks as though they will probably stay there.
I think it'll be interesting with the with the new format of the town common as to whether they move back to the town common once the grass is solidly installed and so on. Because part of the the design of the previous layout created the way the pathways were created and so on, that it was a little more awkward to be able to lay out booths and to do those types of things because you were working around the different, walkways and trees and those kinds of things. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it worked really well though at Greens Field last year, and I can totally understand because of the very rectangular, layout of the area, that it makes it very simple to lay out booths, and you can have aisles going down the middle and so on. But we'll see. So that's great. All right. Well, I think
We
unless-
need
Yep.
April meeting.
yes. So what would be the date for?
April would be the 20th or the 27th. Last two.
So the 20th is the week of school vacation. I don't know if that impacts anyone's availability, but I just wanted to point that out.
Well, I think it probably would. And so why don't we say the 27th?
That's
April
fine with
27th?
me.
Does that sound good to you, Brad and Jessica?
That sounds
Put it
fine.
in my calendar now.
All righty then.
Right.
Well, I think we're good. And I can see,
Are we still continuing Zoom? Is there any change?
Actually, it's funny, when this meeting started, I just got an alert on my email saying that the state legislature passed, both through the House and the Senate, the ability to continue remote meetings for 2 more years.
oh, that's
So-
great. Yes.
All right.
That's- All right. Well, then it means I don't have to sit alone in a room at town hall while we do this meeting. Well, great. Well, thank you all for all your work on these different things, and we'll continue. We got more exciting things to come, and we'll continue to spread the word about looking for people who will help us sponsor the art gallery, because that's a focus for this year, is to really be able to get that funded so we can get it under construction and be able to, hopefully, if we can, have the art gallery up and running before the winter really sets in. Even with global warming, we might get some extended time there, so we'll see. but anyway, thank you very much. And I now propose that we close the meeting of the Revitalization Trust Fund for March. All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Right.
Hearing no objections, we will close the meeting, and thank you all coming to the meeting, even from cars and wherever else you are. All righty. Thank you, Amy.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.